All right, we're going to do a little project here. Now, this is not a new pattern or anything like that. I've seen it, a lot of places, a lot of carvers have done this pattern. I just saw it and I thought it would be nice to do. I can't tell you who did the original pattern. I really don't. I don't know. But it's a dog and a coon. Now, we've done a dog and a coon, but it was a little bit more of an elaborate type pattern. I really like this pattern here. It's more of a simple type pattern to do. This is 1.5 inch basswood. And of course, I drew the pattern out, and on this side, we're just going to do this with the ear. We're gonna each time we're gonna kind of come across so that we know about where to put the ear over here. In other words. Okay, something like that. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, this is 1.5 inch basswood, and of course, here's the tail here and the legs. Now, how this stands is what he does is his paws are up against the tree. We'll have the tree. His paws will be up against the tree, looking at the coon. In other words, or you can put a rabbit. You can put whatever you want to. But when we go to carve this, what we have to realize is that this is symmetrical in the fact that this leg will be behind here. Okay? It's kind of like the other dog we did, and this leg will be forward, so we're going to remove this in here where this leg is forward, and this in here where this leg is back. Okay? All right. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to make a cut, and we want to start removing some wood in here. This is what I told you. That leg's going to be back. Now, we're not going to go too far back because we want to get our figure. We're going to go about halfway. What we do is we search about halfway. What is the halfway point for this figure? And it's somewhere about right in there, which is 3/4. And we want to take off that foot about halfway. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And we start taking that off right in there. Okay? And then we kind of do that and just keep taking wood off till we get to the bottom here. The reason I don't want to go any further is because I don't want to get too far over here and then not take some off of here, in other words. See, we kind of want to make it symmetrical with our figure, so as we bring our figure down, that will give us a better idea of how thin we want the leg and everything like that. So, I'm sorry that it's turned this way, but what we're doing, we're just getting that out of there. Okay? Now, see that? Now, we come also, where's my pencil? Oh, there it is. We come also where this leg here is sticking out this far, so we want to come about halfway and take this off here. Where this leg sticks forward, this leg sticks back. Take a little bit at a time. Don't try to gouge, folks. Don't try to take a whole bunch off at one time. I usually take a little bit off at a time. There we go. All right, see that? See how the leg's back here and the leg's up here? Just kind of getting that. All right, now we want to come in front here. We want to separate these paws because they're going to be up against the tree, but they're going to be separated. So we have to separate this up here. And of course we'll separate them a lot more, but we will just want to, and it will come all the way down probably to about right in here that they'll have to be separated. So I'll draw my line here and we'll start separating our, if you can do it with a gouge or with a, and feel free to. So these will be separated here. Okay? Now let's take this and let's separate the ears from the head. Okay? And let's come over here and do the same thing. Now let's see, is that, yeah, that's about right. And we want to come up here and we want to definitely separate our ears from our body. Okay? And come here and separate our ears from our body. This is what I call boundaries. We're making our boundaries right now to show that we've got it kind of a. All right. Now, we also want to separate our tail. Our tail is a very important thing because our tail is sort of a center point for our head and everything else, in other words. So we want to go ahead and bring our tail down a little bit. We're not going to bring it down so much that we just can't, you know, it's and we come over here and we do the same thing. Brought our tail down now a little bit. And we draw on our center point on our tail, because that's where our point of our tail will be. And we want to take the point of the tail and kind of make it the way the head is, because that has a very important point in figuring out the dimension of the head as well. It helps us a whole lot figure that out. Now, let's just kind of come down here like this and take a little bit off. Let's work on the body just a little bit. Of course, this will all have to be brought down. Go. Once again, we want to wait just for a minute. We want to see. Also, a lot has to do with the center point as we bring our legs down to show our way we do this. Okay. Okay. Let's bring that tail down a little bit more. Like I said, the tail has a very significant in the dimensions of our piece. And let's come down a little bit more. And let's see what I was talking about. If we take too much off this area and we don't take any off this area, then it's going to look funny, in other words. Okay, we're just kind of taking off areas in here. Now you see how from the back. Now of course we all know that there's going to have to be more taken off in here, because when you look at the legs, they have to come up further, just like that. See? Okay. And of course the arms, the legs are way too thick, so that has to come down. All right, we just slowly begin to move in as we begin to shape. I'm going to go ahead and come on down here with these ears like this, even though they may not come as far, so that I can kind of make my boundaries there. Same thing with this. We'll come on down here, because the ears will stick out just like that. They're going to stick out, so we want to make sure they do. Now, one of the things we want to be careful of, as this tail is down, you saw my thumb on that a little bit, for carving, you want to be careful and not put too much pressure on it, because it will break when it gets too thin. Doing the face a little bit, and remember that the ears up underneath here, you will have to cut a thing in there so that the ears stand out. And then we sort of come forward with this area here. And remember, there's also going to be a nose up here. So we want to draw just a little thing here. And I'm going to make a little cut in there. And I'm going to separate that. And I'm going to make a little cut in here, and I'm going to separate that because I want us to not go beyond that factor in here to where the nose is, okay? We want to leave room for the nose. We're trying to sometimes I get to where as I said, I get kind of. Okay, we want to bring the arms in just a little bit in here. Bring the sides down just a little bit. Same thing over here. We want to bring this up to meet our tail. This here. See, as we go up with that, bring these legs down a little bit, because these legs are going to be quite a bit thinner, a lot thinner. Okay. Now, when we come to the ears here, we want to just kind of do this number so that we make room for the ears, and we'll bring the ears down too, but we make room for the ears and where the rest of the head is. Okay? And then we can shape the ears the way we want them. So in a lot of ways, that's what we have. Come up underneath here, we take some out. We begin to shape the head a little bit. Now this is going to be is decorative. What I'm saying is it's detailed of a dog, is what we did in our last coon and dog thing. That was a very detailed dog that we did. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start bringing these legs down a little bit too. See, to kind of equalize and get ourselves, that tail will come down a little bit more. As you get closer and closer to the tail, of course, we want to be careful not to be too there we go. Don't put as much pressure on the knife, as much pressure on the stuff. Kind of, and we bring this area where the base of the tail down just a little bit on both sides. See that? And then we can kind of see, that's why I said don't bring this down too much, because what happens is I have to take some down here on this side of the leg. So if I had it too thin in here, I couldn't bring made it too thin in there, then I couldn't take any off there to kind of to rationalize it, get it up, because the legs are thin. They're not thick. See it? Just like over here. There's a lot that has to be taken down over here. Now I can take a little bit more off this leg right here, doing it from the inside. I think my time is probably about up as we've worked upon this figure, and it is. We want to come down in this area quite a bit too, where these ears stand out. Okay, we'll come back to this.